right, welcome to Let It Fly and the Let It Fly Sports Bar and Let It Fly Show with Josh Jones, University of Creighton, and Central High Eagle. I am Michael Schaefer of the Jet Award Foundation. We are the Let It Fly Show. Caleb helps out with that as well. Welcome to the busiest next 5 weeks of sports you can possibly have, because you got baseball playoffs going on.
My favorite is coming back.
Basketball, you already have practice going on next week.
Yep.
We're going to have exhibition games in college. The NBA playing preseason already. You got hockey, as hockey is in the coming back as well. All of that going on at one time.
I know.
It's busy.
So what's your primary? What's your secondary?
Oh, it's football. It's football. It's pro football, and it's
college basketball.
It's after the two footballs, I would say college basketball for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. Because
so pro football,
I'm following Nebraska and I'm following Creighton primarily for basketball.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm watching all the Big Ten games I can watch and all the biggest games I can watch.
Got you.
So yeah, that's definitely after football
for sure. Yeah, it is gonna be busy, man. I'm glued to the TV.
Yeah.
I'm eating all the specials I can. You know.
Speaking of that, a lot of specials happening here. Monday through Friday, whatever day you come, there is some specials.
Yeah.
Especially on Wednesday. We're taping this on Wednesday. Yeah. You have the Wing Wednesday.
That's
$1 Wing Wednesday.
Yeah, the lemon pepper are amazing.
That's yours. You like lemon pepper.
Yeah, and Parmesan garlic. And Chipotle honey.
I've had that one. That's really good.
3 here.
Yeah. I'm more of the spicy one.
For sure.
I like the spicy one, but it's got specials going on. Don't forget also about the happy hour.
Yep.
You have happy hour from 3 to 6, and then reverse happy hour that goes from 10 to 1 in the morning, which is damn late or damn early, depending on what direction you're going.
Sometimes, man, I wonder. I'm gonna see if Let It Fly DoorDash at 1 in the morning. I'm gonna do it tonight.
Do they deliver? I guess DoorDash. Somebody comes and picks it up and brings it to you.
I think they deliver.
Sure they do. Yeah.
I'm always here.
Yeah, I'm always here.
I'm gonna see. See.
Also, special thanks to our presenting sponsor, Bud Light. They make things
easy,
whether you're watching playoff baseball or you're watching NFL football, or you're watching
5 weeks
college football, or you're watching some preseason hockey, or now hockey's in the regular season. Everything is going on makes it easy to drink and easy to enjoy. We thank you to Bud Light. All right.
Yep.
Our guest this week, we're going to talk Nebraska football and recruiting. Mike Schaefer from 24/7 Sports, Nebraska 24/7. We'll chat with him about everything that's going on with Nebraska winning last week against Michigan State. And, of course, playing Maryland this week and all of that as well. We'll do that. But first, headlines, and it starts with Nebraska, right? They're now 4-1.
Yep.
They got an 11-point win over Michigan State, but it was as weird of a game.
It was.
Nebraska goes up 14-0.
Right.
Michigan State scores 21 straight points.
Yes.
So now Nebraska's down 21-14, and they've only had about 25 yards of offense.
It was boring at that time.
All of a sudden, Nebraska's sitting there with 77 yards of total offense, has a 75-yard play to tie it up. Then gets a funny kickoff, gets a field goal, goes up 24-21, and that's it. Nebraska gets 2 more touchdowns, puts the game out of reach. Makes it look a little bit like a blowout, but that's not what the game was.
I know, but when I watch those big plays you named, man, it just makes me feel like, man, Nebraska is good.
They have explosiveness.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
To me, I got to give it to them.
The problem is they had a good 2 quarters where they did nothing.
Right.
And you're like, what is wrong with this team?
Sometimes I kind of take situations like that. Like
sometimes it happens.
Yeah, you take the wins with the losses.
Yeah, and you go cold.
Yeah.
You know, to put it in a basketball terminology, you can go cold sometimes.
Facts.
And then they went cold, but then turned around.
Now, did you see that game as one, despite of that scenario? Did you feel like, you never thought they was going to lose? Because I didn't think they was going to lose.
It was a game where the defense, even though they scored 21 points, right?
Yeah.
The way the defense was playing, I thought that they would keep Nebraska close enough to where eventually the explosiveness of Nebraska would catch up.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm not lying. At 21-14, that stadium was dead.
Dang.
There was no energy in there.
Right.
The press box was quiet. Everybody was thinking to themselves, here's one of those fart games, where you mess it up. But that's the difference between this team and that team before.
And that's what I'm trying to say.
Yep.
It's moments like this that show you can make a run. You can get a bowl game.
Oh yeah.
You can go 9-10 and 8 and have a great season.
Yeah.
That was a good game. 3
touchdowns by Emmett Johnson in the game. You had 2 really good plays by Hunter, the wide receiver, Nakia Hunter. You had Isaiah Hunter, and The Torrey Parney play that I told you that one long 45-yard. It's such a momentum changer.
Yep.
That all these first 3 days after the game was over, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Yep.
That's all people talked about.
I know, man.
Was that catch and how much that changed everything in the game, which is incredible.
Look at me, I'm taking the Kool-Aid and I'm like,
you say, pick it up a little bit.
Put it back in the refrigerator.
Get you a straw. This week, Maryland, Saturday, 2:30, going to be their first true road game for Nebraska.
Yep.
The weird part about this game is, so Nebraska goes through a weird game but wins.
Yep.
Maryland goes up 20-0, right? After they go up 20-0, they only convert one more third down the rest of the game, and they lose 24-20. Their fan base, their team, trust me, all week this week, that's all they're thinking about.
Right.
I'm really curious to see how they play, how they come out in that game.
The response.
Because, trust me, all week long, that's all you're hearing about. You choked the game away.
Yeah.
What happened in the fourth quarter?
Right.
How'd you give up all those points? Everybody's miserable.
So, who does Maryland play after Nebraska? Do you know?
Actually, I don't.
The reason why I say that is because this can be one of them seasons where it's like a 2015 Nebraska season.
So you're saying that game could roll over
there you go.
all the way down and they lose more. They get beat more than once because they lost that game. It's possible. They're a young team.
Yep.
Their two best pass rushers are freshmen. Their starting quarterback is a freshman.
Yeah.
A lot of talent in there. Malik Washington is really good defensively. They lead the conference in sacks, in pressures, and interceptions.
Yeah.
So defensively, they've been very good. Last in third down conversion on offense, but fourth best in stopping people from getting third downs. I think it comes down to special teams.
Right.
I think this is a special teams game.
Nebraska has been better.
Big kickoff return for Nebraska, maybe even a touchdown makes a difference in the game. We will have, after we talk to our guest, Mike Schaefer, we will get into some keys to the game, and we'll pick the scores as well. Headline 2, officially, if you didn't know this, there's also volleyball going on.
If you don't know, now you know.
Now you know. This is a volleyball state.
Yes.
Number 1, Nebraska, who last week put it on Penn State, the defending champions.
That is correct.
We were at an event, and somebody looked at their phone like, she says to me, she goes, it looks like Nebraska won the first set 25-6.
Yeah.
And I go, you sure they didn't leave out the one? He's 16, like, no. They beat them 25-6 in the first set.
That is correct.
They just wrecked them. Now, Creighton has won 6 in a row.
Yes.
They're number 13 in the country as well.
Right.
Division 2, Nebraska Kearney. Kearney is 17-0.
Yes.
And in NAIA, Concordia, which is over there in Seward, they're 15-1.
So speaking about the Huskers.
Yeah.
Are they that good?
They're that good.
Or was Penn State off their game?
Penn State's not what they were last year. They were ranked 16th, which is not normally Penn State. But Nebraska literally is 2 teams. They have a team on the bench that can come in and start for you. They have a team that starts for you that could start for anybody. They're that good. They're that good.
Yeah.
Headline number 3, the Big Ten unofficial poll came out for basketball. This is done by the Indianapolis Star and the Columbus Dispatch. Number 1 team in the Big Ten with 25 first-place votes, Purdue.
Of course.
Number 2 is Michigan. Then you got UCLA, Illinois, and Oregon. That's your top 5. Michigan State, number 6. Nebraska comes in at 14th.
That's decent.
Nebraska has 0 players, of course, on the first team or the second team. But they did. Ranked Mass got 2 votes. 2 votes for overall voting. So that basically would be, the extra ones that come out. So he got 2 votes for that and also receiving votes. But Tucker DeVries got 6 votes.
Yeah.
Playing for Indiana now. The first team, of course, includes Braden Smith from Purdue, who people are saying might be the best player in not just Big Ten, but in the country.
Wait, whoa. Say it again.
They're saying Braden Smith might be the best player, not just in the Big Ten, but maybe in the country.
I think so.
He's really good.
I think
he's really, really good.
Yeah.
He's really good.
Think about what you said.
And he got all 56 votes.
Yeah.
So he's the captain of the first team in the Big Ten. And we know how good the Big Ten can be in basketball.
Preseason player of the year, brother.
Yeah. In terms of Creighton, that hasn't come out yet. The Big East poll hasn't. But I will tell you, ESPN's preseason poll, 4 Big Ten teams, Purdue, Michigan, Illinois, Wisconsin. 3 Big East teams, UConn, St. John's, and Creighton.
Correct.
And then you got 6 from the SEC, 4 from the ACC, and 6 from the Big 12 in your top 25.
Where does Creighton land in the top 25?
They're 23. So number 4 is UConn, number 5 is St. John's, and the next Big East team is number 23.
Okay.
I think that is a little low. I think there's just so many question marks.
It is.
They have a lot of question
They
marks.
can play their way into the top 10.
Replacing Kalkbrenner.
Yeah.
Replacing, your point guard and Ashworth. So all of that is probably a big part of it.
Yeah, anytime you lose the second best player in Creighton basketball history, you drop into 23.
Yeah, they're going to put you at 23. When we come back, we're going to talk some college football, talk Nebraska recruiting and all of that. Mike Schaefer from 24/7 Sports joins us next here on Let It Fly Show. All right, welcome back to Let It Fly Show. We are joined by our guest this week, who's been involved in the media for a very long time. I think right about 20 years since he got into college. With
give or take. That's a give or take.
Somewhere in there. Mike Schaefer joining us with 24/7 Sports, Nebraska 24/7, of course. So to answer the question, how long have you been doing this?
I've been covering Nebraska. It's funny this came up because it's like the 16th year anniversary of Nebraska, Missouri, I think was today. The 2009.
Oh,
Thursday
yeah.
night.
You should know
Thursday
that.
night game.
Right here.
Thursday night raining.
Yeah.
Oh, I won a bet on that when I bet the guy that they win by 2 touchdowns.
Oh, man.
I did a 2-point conversion to get it too. Oh,
there you go.
Yeah, now's Paul, baby.
Yes, there you go. No, so it's that was my first year covering the team, senior year in college with the Daily Nebraskan at that time. So roughly covering Nebraska athletics since like 2008.
You got to college in 2006 though, right?
Yeah, I got to college in 2006. I actually went to South Dakota State.
I saw that. Yeah.
Went to South Dakota State for a semester. Decided to transfer to Nebraska. Got there in January of 2007. Didn't really do anything with the student newspaper until 2008 because I wasn't sure. I went there initially and then just didn't have like a strong feel for it. There's like 75 sports reporters at that time. It was like competitive, and I just felt like I needed to make sure I wasn't going to fail out of school. My first semester of college was horrible. Part of why I had to transfer from South Dakota State to Nebraska was that the scholarship money I had that had me at South Dakota State was not going to be there for the second semester.
Because of an Animal House kind of semester? 0.000.
No, not quite that. Not quite that. But it was a lot of freedom at once that I did not handle particularly well.
That's a good way to put it.
And after that, college was fine. But the first semester, when you just get to make every decision you've never made for 18 years.
Yeah.
And you could do it all at once.
Yeah.
And you're 5 hours away from home, which is good because it forces you to have to handle things yourself. But also, there's no one, growing up in a community where anything I did was going to get back to my parents.
Columbus
was very door opening for me in a way that my high school experience was not. So
happens to all of us.
Yeah. I had to go to Lincoln and then learn how to be a college student. I had to learn how to study.
Yeah.
Never had any preparation for any of that. So it took me a little bit, but then I got into the Nebraska sports thing around 2008.
That'll do it.
So what's the first thing you ever wrote? I know you got to remember that.
Well, first thing I ever wrote for the Daily Nebraskan, the first beat I ended up with was I almost said high school golf. Nebraska's men's golf team. So I covered golf for 8 weeks or whatever in the fall of 2008.
Yeah.
And then I got moved into, and this is what I consider my first real beat because you can't really go cover golf.
Right.
They had one event that was in Nebraska that fall, and I went down to Arbor Links and I just stood there at a hole.
Yeah.
45 minutes in, I was like, this is dumb. I'm just going to talk to him afterwards. I've got nothing out of this. And they were great to work with, and I've actually later in life gotten to know several of the guys that were on that team. But I then went on to cover the 2008 Nebraska wrestling team.
Oh, cool.
Which was Jordan Burroughs' first national championship.
Yeah, that's
pretty cool.
So it was amazing. An amazing time to get on there. Mark Manning is one of my favorite people I have
awesome.
worked with.
He's awesome.
Ever. I was late for a media availability for some reason, and everything was finished. Everyone was done. And I walk in and Manning's nowhere to be found. Someone tells me where he is. He's in the sauna with Craig Brester at the time. He's like, how bad do you want this interview? Well, I've got a story I need to get
come in here.
He's like, you're coming into the sauna. It's late November and I'm wearing a coat and I'm got my notepad out.
And he's trying to make
wet, just sweat beads pouring down my face as I'm sitting in this sauna. But that's who Mark Manning was. I mean, he was just an unbelievable coach. That team was awesome. Was just talking about this the other day in 2009. So the obviously split year season. 2009, the Big 12 championships were in Lincoln. So you have all the Iowa State fans, all the Oklahoma State fans, all of these wrestling people, all in the Coliseum. Just an unbelievable environment.
Yeah.
Nebraska ties for a championship. Craig Brester gets his only win over Jake Varner that year, a guy that beat him for the championship the next month, and the place just erupts. There had been a tragedy a little bit earlier that season where there was two brothers that were on the team, Cameron Brown and can't remember the other one. Their mom passed away unexpectedly.
Oh, wow.
And then they both had a ton of success in that tournament. And it was just like a very emotionally charged thing. And all of that kind of really set me up to sort of be in this position because you're writing all these cool features and you're doing all this stuff. And that set me up to have an opportunity to cover football in the spring of 2009 and kind of haven't stopped covering it since.
And Bo Pelini comes in.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure there was as fun as Callahan was to cover. And Callahan was fun in a lot of ways. But Bo, there was no other coach in the nation, I would say, that had news make every day. Every day, every week, they made news. It was incredible. Everything. It was incredible.
Yeah. It was like the dumbest stuff you could possibly imagine. I mean, you have like Chase Rome attacking a bathroom hand towel dispenser or whatever.
Or Bo going after a person, a softball umpire in a softball league that his niece is in. Yeah. And he's like yelling at the referee.
This is random.
This is
what's up with the cat?
Oh, that was just it was a funny thing.
Yeah.
You ever heard of so there was a fake Bo Pelini?
So
fake Bo Pelini would joke about that, and then they took that and they put that in the spring game. And made it a real thing. But Bo, I mean, like stuff that went on that never got out there. But like he would call media members in the course of a week and yell at them for nothing. He suspended Sean Callahan for like a week or 2 weeks.
Heard about that, yeah.
All that. I mean, it's like just all this random stuff.
Drama.
And it was drama. And he loved it. He lived on it.
Yeah.
He was very confrontational. I mean,
incredibly, yeah.
Like if you asked a question, and I did this as a student reporter, and he just either didn't like the line of question, and sometimes he would be genuinely curious about what it is that you were asking.
Yeah.
But he just like throw it back on you, like, oh, well, what do you think?
What do you think? What do you think?
Yeah. The first time he hit me with that, I just froze. I had no idea how to respond to it because you just have this glare, and I think my question was something. I would love to go back in time and like have this just nailed down. It had something to do with the running game going into that Missouri game because Missouri's rush defense had been pretty good. Nebraska had been kind of up and down.
Right.
They had just really struggled against Virginia Tech earlier.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was like, ask something about the run game. And he just threw me with a, what do you think? And again, I'm just looking down at my notepad. What do I think? He can't even meet the gaze.
Right, yeah.
He just kind of waits, moves on to the next question. Afterwards, you have the veterans of the Nebraska media come by and like, hey, we've all been there.
Everybody.
It's already
that was like my badge into this whole thing.
Dang.
Yeah. But the thing about it is that the great thing about it, especially if you're doing sports radio, is that you never had to worry about what your content was going to be.
Yeah.
Well, you're running a message board. You always had to worry about what sort of
I bet you guys. Was
going to be started.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely.
Which two players got in a fight and someone's bottle gets broken over their head on a Friday night, and then your whole weekend is this.
Yeah.
Which of these guys are going to be on the team? And then it's trying to run down all of these rumors and everything else.
Now you find out about all of it by watching like Compton's podcast. He brings people on.
He was tripping.
And he's like telling the stories now about when Sue knocked out multiple people.
Yeah.
Like he punched out a dude from Snow College. He punched out
Victory Haynes.
Victory Haynes
had a double black eye.
Yeah, and like what happened to him? Don't worry about it.
Right.
I mean, double. Like he hit him both sides of the face.
You know how hard that would be?
Hey,
he had a big hand though.
Speaking of Will, maybe I read this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Is it true that did he respond to somebody making up a rumor about Coach Rule going to Penn State or taking a meeting?
I missed that. It's possible.
I didn't see that either.
It's possible. It's out. It's going to be out there, and it has been out there. You know, ever since Coach Rule got here. Like if there was a place he was going to go, he'd go back to his alma mater. I don't believe it's actually a great thing.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a possibility.
Maybe it was just fake news, fake blog, or something.
Yeah, and there's all that stuff's going on. So you experienced. So say when you got to college it was 07. So say when I'm going to 06 to 12, you got 4 conference championship games. Okay, over that short period of time, 7 years basically.
That's pretty good.
Not had one since then. How much of it is simply joining the Big Ten?
I definitely think that's a portion of it because people almost forget about this. The Big Ten wasn't geographical in their divisions.
Legends and leaders, baby.
Nebraska's one appearance comes at a time in which the Big Ten is just mass upheaval.
Yeah.
Because you don't have
Penn State suspended.
Penn State suspended. I don't think Ohio State could qualify for the Big 10 title game that year. Yep. So that's how you end up with that 7-6, whatever Wisconsin team that just comes in and rolls Nebraska. But it came down to Nebraska and Michigan State multiple times out of that division, which led to some really good games. I mean, we were talking about leading up to that Michigan State game last weekend. You remember that 2013 Nebraska-Michigan State game? Like, there's a lot of excitement coming in. It's been a weird year for Nebraska. They still have an opportunity to win this game. You're in control for the division. 5 turnovers. Terrell Newby loses the ball in the sun. Connor Cook has a massive completion on third down. Nebraska loses that game, and then you have the, Iowa game that follows. Bo Pelini swinging the hat, the official coming in after the game. Yeah. You want to fire me, fire me. Yeah. You have all of that.
That season was so crazy because Taylor Martinez gets hurt, right? And it's a mystery on how he broke his foot. Right? Something happened in the locker room. The halftime of UCLA. It's a mystery, right? So that happens. Then you get into the season, and then the Minnesota game happens. And Tommy and Kellogg have been going back and forth, and they bring in Taylor and let him work out before the game. And they say, Joe Gans, you work him out and you see if he's ready for the game. At the end, Joe's like, well, he's ready. Yeah. And he played like crap.
Yeah.
Played like crap.
And was that Rashid Hageman who just destroyed
Nebraska?
Mike Mowdy was just picking him up and throwing him on every play of that game. I mean, that was
pretty much is what Minnesota's done to Nebraska's defensive line for years. Yeah.
In that 2013 game. No, that was a wild season. That was the audio tape. That was everything seemed to happen.
All that happened in 4 days.
Yeah.
Lose to UCLA after the big lead. Tommy Frazier comes out and says something on Twitter. Then Bo says something in the press conference and the audio leaks.
Dang.
It's like bam, 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 bam.
Yeah. And then it's go play South Dakota State after that. Then you're going to lose that game.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. Just a wild time.
It's a wild time.
It's a lot more tame covering.
It is so much more relaxed now. And imagine if we really had a full Twitter back then.
Oh, man.
Dang.
Because all we had was message boards.
Right.
Which were enough.
Well, and then think about you have players with TikTok.
Yes.
Instagram, yeah. Matt Rule has his rule about people doing stuff in the facilities. Otherwise, you can. However, Bo Pelini didn't really have any sort of restraints on what people could do online. And so
that's because he probably wanted the drama.
The one thing he did do was guys went to class.
Oh yeah.
Guys had to go to class.
I mean, they had staffers that were checking in every single classroom where those guys were, and they would make those notes. And if you weren't there, I mean, you were running steps, you were missing practices. I mean, that was a big deal.
I think it was Barrett Ruud, was not playing, and he was working as a coach or whatever, and had to make sure that number 4 got the
number 4
Dallas Cowboys pass rusher Weed.
Oh, Randy Gregory.
Randy Gregory got to class every day. That was his game.
I like the we're just playing a game.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to give you 3 things about the player. You name them.
Was it
number 4?
What is
Dallas Cowboys.
What is that? The 10,000 pyramid?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So let's talk about, because you also have obviously covered a lot of recruiting, and there's nothing that's changed more than recruiting.
Totally different world there too.
Give me the things that have been the best for, say, the players, and the thing that's been the worst in terms of the changes that we've got?
Well, the best for the players is Huddle. I mean, Huddle gives you the opportunity to get your stuff everywhere. And Huddle existed, when I first started with this, but it really, I think the apex of it would have been 2014 to 2018, right in there, because you could customize it. You could make sure your clips were getting to whoever you wanted.
Right.
In the olden times, you kind of had to rely on having a coach that was going to help shop you around, that was going to cut your film
for you. Yeah.
Or you had to do it yourself, or you had to convince somebody if you had an AV department in your high school to, get involved with that stuff. So Huddle really made things easier. And then the next thing beyond that was Twitter. I mean, my job changed dramatically, and I came in right in middle of 2011, season of 2011, October of 2011. And Twitter was important, but not nearly as important as having every sort of possible phone number, the high school coach's number, their house number, a cell phone number for a parent, a cell phone number for a kid. How you got those was basically just sending emails, following up cold calls. You're hustling all the time. Twitter comes around, and all of these guys have Twitter. They have DMs. You just hit them up that way. And it's hey man, can we set up an interview? And then you're setting up a time, you're getting on the phone, and then eventually it becomes nobody wants to be on the phone anymore. So then you get a lot more less personal stories that way. Like the quality of covering recruiting has gone downhill, not because of the people covering it, but you can't really tell the stories the same way anymore.
Right.
Really?
You
have
to either go do it in person, which if you're covering Nebraska recruiting and they're recruiting, C to C, that's a lot harder to do, and nobody wants to spend money anymore as media companies. So you're not being sent out. Like I used to, in 2012, I went to LA for a week so I could write about Terrell Newby, Johnny Stanton, all of those guys. In 2016, I convinced 24/7 to send me out again so I could write about Ashari Crosswell and all those other players that Keith Williams was recruiting out in LA.
Yeah.
They would never do that.
Yeah, I think they sent Niatao out there.
They would never do that now. And, I got some awesome experiences where you're at some of these schools where, for me, as a Midwestern kid growing up in Columbus, first of all, high school campuses look nothing like what they do in Nebraska.
Yeah.
If you go anywhere else. Even next door in Colorado, if you go to Cherry Creek, it's like just a wildly different world.
Right.
And so exposure to all of that helped me so much because part of this job is understanding where some of these people come from.
Yeah.
And you don't know where they come from if all you do is just sit and DM with them or tag, you can follow their Twitter and their socials or whatever, but actually being in the living room of someone's house and getting to know their family and meeting, Terry Wilson's mom or all of these, like I miss that aspect of the job. But that's gone. Like that's
Ricky
not
Thenar's?
coming back.
No.
So like Ricky Thenar's story. That you don't get that story unless somebody goes out to LA.
Well, and the thing is, unfortunately, people don't want that story as much as they want like 155 words that quickly summarizes what's happening. Like, I'm not saying that everybody doesn't want that story.
Right.
But you may not get as much traffic off of a really well-researched.
It's the instant gratification, though. People want to know what's going on right now.
Unfortunately, you have to chase what people want to read, and not everybody wants to invest the time in a feature.
Yeah, for sure. Social media has changed culture. I agree. I was kind of listening to you two talk about timelines. You mentioned 2006 to 2012. You got 4 conference championship, right? 12 to 2 years ago. A lot of people like me wasn't drinking the Kool-Aid of what the Huskers should or could or would be. Now we got Coach Rule. What's your take on, like, what is he doing different now that wasn't happening between 12 and 2 years ago, even though we had all-time leading receivers within that time span and seasons where I feel like they could have won. They had really good teams in like 2015, matter of fact. 2014, good team, but damn, So what's the difference between Coach Rule now and versus 12 to 2 years ago?
Yeah, well, I got to be careful because Matt Rule still hasn't done anything that Bo Pelini had achieved in that stretch in 12 to 2014.
I got you, yeah.
So if we just want to talk about what he's doing that maybe Riley and Frost weren't, I think a lot of it is he's just taken far more control.
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing that's nice about that with Matt Rule is it is very much his program.
Oh, yeah.
Mike Riley came here and, he had stuff that he cared about, and he's not necessarily the guy that's always portrayed as the happy-go-lucky Mr. Rogers grandpa.
Yeah, right.
He's not necessarily that. But he also came here, and immediately the people behind him who brought him here were like, oh, well, now we have to put guardrails because this has to work. So suddenly he's not operating this thing how he wants. He's got a defensive coordinator by 2017 that he had no interest in having, but it's just foisted upon him.
He's got a general manager.
Nebraska was one of the first people to hire a general manager, and I still, to this day, have no idea what Billy Devaney did in that entire stretch.
Undercut the coach?
Basically.
A lot,
basically. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like he was in there picking out who they were recruiting, and their recruiting operation was really good at that time.
Yep.
They had identified and they evaluated really well, and they were bringing people in. And so there's some similarities to Rule and what was happening there. But the biggest thing for me, and then you can get into Frost was not interested in those details. Like Frost and Bo Pelini have a lot of similarities in my mind where they are at their happiest when they are standing in front of a grease board and just creating and reacting and teaching and doing that stuff.
Yep.
But when you take them away from that and you want them to be the head football coach at a place like Nebraska where, it's a fishbowl, but beyond just a fishbowl, like you have to do this stuff over here and you have to care about this stuff over here, or you have to be willing to delegate it.
Yeah.
Frost would delegate it, but then you have to hire good people around it.
Right.
And I can't always say that was what was
the
going
case.
on there. And then with Bo, I don't know how much he cared, like he cared about
other stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
He cared about Saturday,
Mhm.
but and I want to be careful because there are good people that work for him that were involved with recruiting, but where Nebraska was in terms of recruiting and getting information and bringing in people early in their careers and all of that stuff. I mean, he was in the dark ages. They had like a once a week recruiting meeting and there was guys falling asleep in the meeting and not paying attention.
Dang.
And because they just didn't, you worry about recruiting after you got the season over. Well, that's not really how it worked.
Right.
There's one.
He wanted to see 12th grade film.
Yeah, there was one famous January where they took like 13 commitments because they hadn't built out their class. Now you get some Kevin Maurice's in there and some other guys that were pretty good. Got a lot of guys that they got here, and it's like, there's a reason he was available in January.
Yeah. Well, what sucked was, and Mike Schaefer joining us from 24/7. What sucked is that Callahan built a really nice recruiting machine. He got here in 2004, and it was a mess. Like, they didn't have tape rooms. People weren't on the same floor. He fixed all that. By the time he left, by the way, that 2007 or 2008 class would have been a hell of a class. He had it. If they could have just kept it going.
Yeah.
But
I mean, the big what ifs of if he just would have replaced Kevin Cosgrove or whatever. I mean, I understand that he wasn't that well liked, but in terms of building an organization, Few really did it better than what Callahan did in terms of he modernized Nebraska football.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we were talking about
big
dark
time
ages with Bo Pelini.
Yeah.
That had more to do with just his own personal belief in recruiting. He didn't care.
Mm.
He felt like he could take player A, B, and C, figure out what their strengths are, and then marry it up to his defense, which clearly by the end of his run was not going to work.
Which worked in the Big 12.
Sure.
But much more difficult in the Big 10.
It's an entirely different style of offense.
Yeah.
And then that is one of those things that's out of your control. Like, you switch conferences, you're built one way.
Yeah.
Oh, now we expect you to be a top 15 team playing an entirely different style of football.
Yeah. And he kind of made the change too, because if you remember in 2008, yes, the offenses were good, but they got better.
Yeah.
I mean, they got instantly, all of a sudden, everybody was catch, rock, and throw. Everybody was quickly nobody was grabbing under the laces of the football. Everything was just really fast, And he figured that out. The peso brought in, got faster safeties.
Yeah, I mean, having 5 defensive backs on the field was not something that you would really ever see prior to him. And now it's sort of just everyone has to have that in your defense.
Kind of the standard,
Yeah.
What
do you think about Nebraska's last win? Like, how do you compare that towards the momentum of the games going forward? And is this the year where Nebraska gets back to that 9-game, 10-game season?
Well, I think.
How many did you pick coming in?
I had them at 8-4.
Okay.
I was really
That's
stubborn,
solid.
sticking
That's
on 7-5, and I finally last week I drank a little more Kool-Aid.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now, the year before, I had Nebraska at 9-3. I felt like they had the talent. I felt like they had a schedule. I felt like they should have won a lot more than they did last year.
Gotcha.
I still feel like that today. And so kind of blending that all together, my big takeaway from the Michigan State game is how important Mike Eckler has been for Nebraska.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because those losses that were mounting up or happening in 23 and 24, I think some of those don't happen if you have Mike Eckler. I mean, your attention to detail on special teams is better. You're not giving away so much field. I stare at that -1 punt return number, and I know you're a big, average starting field position.
Yeah.
What he has done in less than a year.
Yeah.
And just completely changed where teams are starting on the field against Nebraska.
Yeah.
And that matters so much when you're talking about a defense that isn't going to be, elite, but they get a longer field to work with to get you off the field and more opportunities. And throwing in a guy like John Butler, who's obviously created some coverage concepts that have made things difficult for the quarterbacks that they have played. I mean, I feel better about this team than I thought I would at this point in time.
Got
I
it.
certainly do.
They are 10th in net available yards. What that means is, say you take over the play on the 18-yard line, right?
Right.
That means you've got 88 yards of available yards.
Understood.
They're 10th in the country in that. They're number 1 in special teams efficiency currently.
Yeah.
And
Number 1. They were 80, and then before that, 126.
I know.
In the last 2 years.
I know.
And the one that I like a lot, and I always talk about this, net start fielding position, you mentioned just now, they're fourth.
Wow.
They're fourth in the country.
It is remarkable. You think about some of those defenses in 23 and 24 and how they were built and the way that Nebraska was sort of designed to play, and they couldn't play complementary football.
That's right.
Now you're playing complementary football to the point where the defense and special teams sets up your offense 3 times inside the 50, and you came away with no points, and you still won that game by double digits.
So they got
no points.
They got a field
3
goal.
times in the second quarter, no points.
They got a field goal on that one on the kickoff, the funky kickoff.
Yeah, well,
right.
so
but they
4
got
times.
4 times,
But 3 times in the second quarter.
Yeah, because it was Barney's punt return and the 2 interceptions.
I'm just sitting there like, this is just unbelievable.
I just kept writing down sudden change offense. Sudden change offense. No sudden change offense.
Which you expect to be the strength of this team.
And he thought he had it too. He thought he had it.
5 games into it, it feels like special teams might sort of be the strength. Mm-hmm. And that's not the worst thing, because then you can kind of figure out a game as you're in it.
Definitely.
If you can rely on that unit to be rock solid, you can survive when your defense doesn't play great or when your offense has a bad quarter.
It's why I went with 9 wins, because I've said over and over again, I think that 1 to 2 win difference because of special teams. And I thought they were an 8-win team. So I added 1 to 9 just because of special teams.
I just was so skeptical that it could just flip like that.
But here's the thing. You saw it. You saw it in 2014 when Bo Pelini said, I'm taking over the special teams. We're 128th, and they moved to 1. And then you saw it a little bit in 2017 when the punt coaching was taken over by Bob Diaco, and all of a sudden it got much better. So it's like if you concentrate on it, you actually can make it better. That's why it's inexcusable.
But it doesn't make any sense, because they had a designated coordinator, and it's not like Ed Foley came to Nebraska and was horrible at everything he'd ever done before.
No, he wasn't.
But it just he gets here and it's just not working. And then you're doing it in the conference that takes more pride and joy in special teams than anywhere else in the country.
Yeah, especially Iowa.
So you start every game in a huge disadvantage. And Michigan State is normally a very good special teams team.
Yep.
They have a great punter. And obviously Nebraska picks something out to the point where you have Eckler just bragging about this out.
Yeah.
We're going to block a punt. We're going to block. And then they do.
Dang. I know that was lit. Yeah, that was lit.
It was awesome. And the crazy part about it is it led to the stagnation on offense, because it led to the
so long
field.
Yeah, right. No doubt.
Kind of walk me through one more recruiting thing. So you got the portal and you got high school recruiting. Can you kind of give me a either percentage or number on optimum year? Like how many you need to bring in the portal? How many? And I know not every year is going to be the same.
Sure.
How many need to bring in the portal? How many need to bring in high school to be able to maintain this thing?
I think you at least have to bring in 15. I think 15 to close to 20 high school guys every year.
Wow.
Because I think that if you're a place like Nebraska, your route on your offensive line and your defensive line are always going to be high school. You can try to get in the bidding wars for defensive linemen and for offensive linemen in the portal, but without connections, you're not getting a Williams Winery. You're just not, right? You know, and so that's the biggest win that they have on either side of those.
Yeah,
basically in any of the portal for offense or defensive linemen. I can't think of a
Spindler's playing well.
Well, and Spindler's been good, but Spindler was also one of those things where it's a guard. Like there's such a huge disparity between the guard and the tackle. I mean, Shaez Pete, the New Mexico State lineman that Nebraska really wanted, that guy went into the portal probably hoping to have a nice little payday, and likely left with well over $2 million to go to Kentucky.
Wow.
And Nebraska was part of the people that helped drive that up to $2 million.
Yeah.
Because that's what the going cost. And that was maybe the 5th, 6th best tackle. So you end up with Elijah Pritchett, and everyone's like, oh, this guy's making a ton of money and he needs to be this. It's like, well, there was a lot of guys that made more, because that's the position that, you know, and he was coming off of a rough season at Alabama.
Right.
I mean, I was skeptical when we talked to our guys at Alabama about Elijah Pritchett. I mean, there was a lot of concerns that they had about maturity, about focus, and production. And all of those have kind of been here for him so far.
Focus is the one. Every time I watched his tape I said, he reminds me a lot of Andrews Pete, actually, where for the Saints, he would give you 4 or 5 plays where you're like, oh, and then your quarterback got killed because he didn't pay attention.
He did that on Saturday too.
One play where he loses concentration.
And then he has no idea and this is one of the biggest issues to me with Nebraska is I can't tell if they don't know where the pressure is coming from pre-snap, and I don't know if that's a Justin Evans. I don't know if that's a Dylan Raiola. I'm not sure whose job that is.
Somebody's pointing stuff out. I don't know if they're pointing out, but he's pointing stuff out.
They need to do a better job.
He's pointing out the mic, and he's supposed to be, and he's moving protection supposedly according to Coach Rule.
Yeah.
That's what he says.
But there are just times where they seem like they have no idea that the guy who's coming up to the line of scrimmage and by all intent looks like he's blitzing is indeed actually blitzing.
Man.
Yeah. That second blitz was completely on Dylan. Completely on him. He knows the numbers, extra guy, that's me.
The one that came off the right side?
Well, his left side, side of the defense. Yeah. That one, that's on him. He's got to look and say, if that guy comes, that's on me.
Yeah. I don't think, well, and this all gets into my general theory on Dylan, the more he gets hit earlier in the game, the more scrambled he kind of becomes the rest of the game. I think he can't keep his eyes downfield. I think it causes issues with protection because he's overthinking everything.
Man, I had a question about
we'll see. It's just a pet theory.
Yeah. So that was going to be kind of my question. Like, how do you feel like Dylan is playing? And, like, how much can his core receivers and his line make him play better or worse, according to what you're saying with how he is? He get hit, he gets scared and starts scrambling.
Yeah, and I don't even know if it's scared. It just becomes like you become very anticipatory about being hit. So instead of keeping your eyes downfield where the action is, you're getting lower, and that makes it so the ball's not coming out.
Gotcha.
And so then he's just holding on to it a little bit more.
Like the throw to Emmett. That was completely him looking at the rush.
Right. And so, you know, some of that, you get some guys who end up holding the ball longer because they're trying to make plays downfield. I don't think that's Dylan. I think he's feeling it, and so he's watching everything right in front of him instead of looking, further down.
Gotcha.
So some of it is they're going to have to find a way to make sure that he's comfortable, because if you look early in games, he's climbing the pocket against Michigan State.
Yep.
He's climbing the pocket against Michigan.
First
He's showing
drive.
good awareness.
Yep.
He does a great job to get out of trouble, to get the ball to, was it Lindenmeyer, who was his outlet on that play against Michigan? Yep. Very early in the game, but the more he gets hit, the more he feels that, the more his eyes come down, and the less Nebraska goes downfield, the more his A-dot, starts to drop a little bit. And then it becomes, instead of being a guy with a tremendous arm that can make throws all over the field, you get a guy who's reducing himself, which then reduces your offense a little bit too.
Yeah.
So some of it is, how do you keep him, even if he's going to be under siege, so he's still working downfield? To me, I'd like to see him roll him a little bit more.
Gotcha.
Put him in motion.
Move the pocket.
The biggest throw of that game was him getting out of the pocket, rolling right, and hitting Ja'Cory Barney.
Yep.
My second favorite play of that game, and actually is my favorite play design of that game, they run a nice little play action to the left. He rolls back to the right. Everyone thinks it's going to Harburg, and you get a late release from Luke Lindenmeyer. I think they put Dylan on the move a little bit more. It cuts the field down for him. It gets him out of sort of where the danger is, allows him to span, and then I think you're going to get more deep shots off of that too.
So you're going to see a guy coming up this week that is very much the song "Up on the Roof" by the Drifter. So he's going to drop back.
I was not expecting
he's going to drop back today. He's going to drop back.
Maybe Boardwalk, but not up on the roof.
He's going to drop back. He's going to drop back, right? And he's going to wait for the last minute. This kid's a freshman.
Yep.
And he doesn't always make the right decision, but he's going to take every second. Right. And you're going to hit him, and he's still going to let go of the ball because he's 6'5", 240 or whatever.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I look at Dylan, I want him to do that.
Yep.
And I know when the question was asked this week of Matt Rule, and it kind of got cut off a little bit about, does he know that rip? Sam asked him that. He does. I mean, I know you defend your quarterback, but he's got to let it rip. There's times where this is open in the Big Ten. This is open.
I think sometimes with Dylan, he just tries to be too fine. Like, even with his just throwing, I would rather see him let it rip with his arm instead of his trying to place things.
He does this a lot.
He looks like a pitcher who knows what the strike zone is.
He floats a lot.
And he's not just letting the arm talent throw. He's trying to place the ball exactly in that right little corner.
Was Mahomes a pitcher?
Mahomes played shortstop.
But he played baseball.
All right, there you go.
I'm sure he pitched when he was young.
Well, Dylan was a catcher.
Oh, wow. This player always pitches for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me ask you this before we've been talking a lot about him, but why do you think
no shade, by the way, either?
No. I mean, listen, all this to say, I would love to have him in 2009. Because that year was horrible.
Okay, let's see what age he would have been in 2009. Roughly like 1.5 years old.
Exactly. Might have been better. Yeah. Cody Green would have come in. So why do you think there's so much criticism about him? And maybe it's not so much. Why is it so loud? Why is there so much loud criticism? And I'm not just locally, I mean nationally about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's been someone we've heard about for years. So you start there,
before.
Like, you have a 3-year runway of this is the prince that is promised. So then here locally, where Nebraska never gets 5-star quarterbacks, your expectation is that this is going to be Deshaun Watson for Clemson.
Right.
Or this is going to be, someone that's just elite right away, which is really not what happens in college football. It takes a while for quarterbacks to kind of build into what they are.
Unless they go to Ohio State.
Well, and we can get into the conversation about how quarterback friendly that offense is.
Yeah.
And it actually teaches them to never read defenses.
Right.
Then they get to the NFL
get
and they look like Justin Fields and CJ Stroud.
Yeah. And CJ Stroud's had his moments where he was, don't put him in.
I know.
Don't put him in.
It's hard because I was like out on him, and then he was so good as a rookie. I was like, well, maybe there's something there. Now it's been so bad.
Yeah. That guy's gonna read. CJ Stroud's gonna be fine. Let's get an offensive line in front of him. Let's not trade an All-Pro before the season starts. Let's do some other things to help that brother out.
Okay.
I think.
Well, let's just focus on Justin Fields.
Yeah,
that's I was correct.
Yeah. Oh no, and he's not the only one. We've seen it before. We've seen other offenses, right?
But I think Ohio State is so quarterback friendly that it creates this idea that, okay, you have a 5-star quarterback, they all should look like that. It's like,
Gotcha.
One, you don't have that level of wide receiver. 2, Ryan Day is a great play designer and offensive coordinator. For whatever people might think of him as a big game coach, he has an offensive system that is very difficult to defend.
What do you think about Oklahoma, USC, right? That system obviously producing a lot of quarterbacks. You think it's producing a good quarterback? Do we know yet?
I don't think we know yet. I think the best
Kyler Murray
quarterback that Lincoln Riley has ever been affiliated with is Baker Mayfield, right?
I guess so.
Yeah, I think so.
And he was he was a walk-on.
And it took Baker Mayfield to sort of go through a bunch of stuff in his NFL career.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Get more or less chewed up, spit out, and told that you're garbage.
Yep.
Come back, and then still end up with multiple offensive coordinators that have now become head coaches.
Yep.
And also have Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, now Emeka Egbuka, now Bucky Irving, Rashad White. Like, he's been surrounded and blessed with all of this, and they sort of just trust him to just go do Baker Mayfield things.
Right.
Yeah.
But everybody else that has come out of that,
We don't know.
has just kind of been Like, every time I watch Kyler Murray, I'm just, what happened to the guy that looked like he could do anything on a football field?
I just think he's too small. I just think he can make some plays. He's still one of the fastest guys in short areas.
You mean too small for his position?
He's just too small as an NFL player.
I don't think he can see as much of the field.
He can't
because of it.
Yeah.
And he has to make those insane, weird dropbacks like Russell Wilson used to get to see more.
Russell threw at an apex of 12 o'clock. Nobody I've ever seen that throws Drew Brees throws at 12 o'clock because you take advantage of being short.
Right.
All of a sudden, you're a little bit taller. That's not Kyler Murray's coming out here.
Yep.
He's not coming over the top. So it makes it very hard. I got 3 predictions for the game this week. You tell me which one's most likely.
Okay.
All right. First one, Nebraska, huge kickoff return. They're going against the team that has the shortest kickoffs in all the Big Ten, shortest almost in the country. They're giving up like 22 yards a return. Tip ball, because that guy I talked about drifts, throws a little bit, 3/4, gets tipped, interception, or Dylan Raiola gets his first rushing touchdown of the season.
All right, I'm going to put them in order for you. We're going to go tip ball first. I think that's Nebraska's defensive line has gotten a little bit more active, and they're getting better push, so they're driving further into it.
Right.
Someone gets their paw up. I could definitely see that happening. I'm like tempted to go with the Raiola touchdown second, but I didn't know that about Maryland's kickoff. You taught me something here. Was unaware of this, and now I'm very fascinated.
I try to help.
So where is that ball landing? Is that landing at like the 10?
The time I watched, the 2 games, Wisconsin game, and then last week watching them both times, it was 5, 6, 7, 8, right in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they have who's close to them is Nebraska. Nebraska is 15th, and they're 18th. So Nebraska's pretty close. Going into last week, only 2 teams had under 60 yards of kickoff yardage per kickoff, and it was Nebraska and Maryland. And Nebraska actually got over 60 after this last week.
Okay.
So I think if there's going to be a chance, it's against this team.
I'm interested in it because Nebraska has had a couple returns that have looked good this year. They've just been either called back because of holding or something else.
Or just missed.
Yeah. So
missed the block.
Is it still Kenneth Williams? Is he still the guy?
He's still back there. You know what I like to see back there? And this is not me being a homer, but I watched Caleb Benning return kickoffs throughout high school. And he's not the fastest at all, but just his feel.
Yeah.
I would love to see them stick him back there. And he was on the list in the fall camp.
You mean in general or just against Maryland?
I want to see him as a kickoff return.
Well, so this is one of those things that was
Mosey's back there too.
That was fun to ask Mike, and I asked Mike Eckler this in August, and it's like, what's the difference for you in a punt returner and a kick returner? Because dumb me just assumes that someone that's good at one is going to be good at both.
Dumb me too.
And he basically took that assumption and just completely fractured it. And all I'm thinking about when you're mentioning Caleb Benning is dumb me also is well, that guy was a really good punt returner. And so I was thinking, he was going to be more involved possibly as a punt returner because it felt like he picked his spots really well as to where to move. Whereas I wouldn't have thought kick returner because I always just think pure speed with kick return. But it's a lot of it is just being able to weave through traffic and anticipating.
It's vision.
Yeah, where guys are coming.
It's vision and also pacing a little bit because sometimes you need to slow a little bit for that hole to open up. And now we don't have any wedge blocking. It's completely different than it used to be. But I would love to see him back there.
Who's your best kick returner of all time? Any level, whatever the
Mel Gray. Mel Gray probably, if I had to guess one. Mel Gray, Devin Hester. You know who was great?
Dante Hall.
A lot. Dante Hall was a great punt returner. He's a great punt returner. You know who's great? Michael Bates. I don't know if you remember Michael Bates from Carolina. Michael Bates, I remember Michael Bates because his brother actually played for the Saints. And he just would catch it and just go forward. And he was kind of thick. And so he was really good at it. Mel Gray was incredible. Mel Gray with the Saints.
I don't know who
the Lions.
Mel Gray is.
If you Google Mel, and there's two of them. Don't get the guy from St. Louis. He was a wide receiver. Mel Gray from the Detroit Lions and the Saints for a while. That dude just was incredible with kickoff returns. And you know what else was good was punt return. Tyrone Hughes.
Okay.
Tyrone Hughes from he was with Nebraska.
Yeah.
And then he went on to the Saints. But so you're gonna go in that order for them. So what happens this week?
Yeah, I'm about to say, yeah.
All right. So I feel like I'm probably out on a limb a little bit with this. I think it's going to be a relatively low scoring game. For some reason,
the numbers, I think 44, right?
Yeah. And so do you want my score prediction?
I was going to ask that.
That's fine. I mean, just tell me what you think happens in the game.
I think it's going to be a relatively low scoring game. I think both teams are going to largely end up playing through their defense, whether they think that right now or not. I think this helps for Nebraska because I think it's going to be a big Archie Wilson game. I think a lot of drives stall out for Nebraska inside Maryland's 50, so they're crossing over. But, whether it's a stray sack here or there, because Maryland's defense can erase things. But they can put you in that 2nd and 17, and we really haven't seen Nebraska show a lot of ability of getting out of that. When they're off schedule, they fall apart.
Yeah.
And so if Nebraska starts getting off schedule on the other side of the field, I think Rule, rather than going for it, will be just putting Archie Wilson to try to pin Maryland. I think Maryland's offense is very one-dimensional in that I don't think they're going to have much success running the ball, even with Nebraska's rush defense occasionally having busts on the 2nd and 3rd levels. And I just don't know if Malik Washington is going to be able to throw on this defense to the tune that he has with other people. So I just sort of see both teams kind of kicking it back and forth with each other for a little while in the middle of this game.
Two of the things you said. So one, Nebraska's 4th in FBS in 3rd downs, only allowing 21.9%. And Maryland ranks 14th, just allowing 28%. So that goes to your defense point of view.
Well, and Maryland, so much of it is that they get after you so fast that, if they get you in a 3rd and medium or 3rd and long, that ball has to come out and you have to get to the line to gain in a pretty quick time because they're getting after guys.
They're actually the worst team, too, in the Big Ten in terms of how many times they actually get to 3rd down. Getting to 3rd down is not a good thing.
Yeah.
They get to 3rd down more than anybody else in the Big Ten,
right?
And they have the lowest conversion rate. So that whole team is an enigma stat-wise because how good they are defensively, how good they are in some parts offensively, and how bad they are in some things offensively.
Would you say, so this is what I think Maryland football is in 2025. I think they have several individuals that have propped up what has been a very heavily flawed team. And so I can't think of the the defensive lineman, Sydney Stewart.
Freshman.
Like, you have 2 freshmen that are leading them in sacks that are just causing some of these havoc plays.
Yeah.
And then you've got a grad transfer guy that's another one that's involved for it on their defensive front. And then Malik Washington and some of these freshmen are really making nice plays.
And the tight end's really good. Yeah.
The rest of it is just pretty
It is.
And so you kind of have this weird, like, they've got to hit on a big play, and they've got to, I don't think Maryland is probably, I think they have individuals that are better than the sums of their parts, if that makes sense.
I'm waiting on that score. What you said is low scoring. What you got?
I got 17-13 Nebraska.
That is low.
Yeah.
See, I'm low. I thought I was low.
Yeah, well.
You're low.
I went low.
You know what you are? You're 2023 Nebraska.
Yeah, well.
This is a 2023 Nebraska score.
There's a part of me that's like, if Nebraska has to lean into that's not the worst thing if the special teams continues to play at a high level.
Yeah.
I see a lot of drives that end up getting stalled out on third, and Nebraska's on third down. We'll see how they do against this pass rush, but
I may be wrong. I just can't imagine Hunter, Key, Barney, Linden. I just can't imagine them being limited. And you know who's going to catch the ball a ton? The running backs.
Yeah.
They running backs catch the ball a ton against Maryland.
I could be entirely wrong. Like I said, it's just one of these like gut feels.
They feel too good. Genie comes out of the bottle. Genie said, you get one wish. You get a Cleveland Indians, Guardians World Series, or you get a Minnesota Vikings Super Bowl win.
The amount of road trips in which this has come up with my friends where they're like, what are you going to do here? And then for them, it's usually like the other team will never win. They're only going to have pain for the rest of your life.
So you only get one. You only get one.
Yeah. And it's weird because it's really hard. Like, it's, I only have one kid, but if I had a second, having to pick between them,
it's easy. Don't worry,
it's easier.
Yeah, it's good to know.
That's good. It's crazy. I got 2 kids, and I ain't have to pick it.
Trust me.
Well, I got a boy and a girl.
When they get older, you'll be much easier. I think that girl is going to kill you.
The answer I always give is that the Vikings would be the bigger sports story.
Oh,
yeah.
It would be just massive for them to do it after having 4 losses.
Yeah.
The more important to me, and particularly if I can pick for it to happen while Jose Ramirez is still on the team, it would be the Cleveland Guardians. You just invest so much time in baseball.
It's a long season.
And as I was explaining to Shelby when they got knocked out, and she's like, why do you, and there's like a day after, she's like, you just seem really down. And it's like, I don't have any energy. You invest 3 straight days, and it was only 3 days, but like 2016, when they lost in Game 7 to the Cubs, and, everything that's going on, Nebraska had a bizarre season the next day after that. I'm flying into Cleveland anyways because we're going down to the Ohio State game.
Yeah.
That Nebraska is going to lose 62-3, and Tommy's going to triumphantly run out of the,
after going to the hospital. Yeah.
And it's just like, I had nothing in me at that point because you spend all month watching these pitches and these nail biting games, and it is a meat grinder. Whereas the NFL and my team
11 and 95.
95, I would have been
8 years old.
Yeah. So 95, I don't remember as much. 97, I remember.
I still believe the Indians won that series. I don't count the Braves winning that series.
That strike zone was as big as this table. Tom Glavine just nicking the end of that. There's nothing you can do.
I know.
No, it'd be baseball just because I think you invest so much more with it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But football would be such a massive story, like the way that it would get treated. And to finally do it
after all this time. Yeah. Last thing, how has having a child changed your work life, like timing, that kind of stuff?
Oh, it's wildly different. Because it used to be with the sort of job that I have, there's no hours. Like, there's no hey, you got to put in 8 to 5 here.
Yeah.
You're working wherever. I remember Drake Martinez commits to Nebraska. Taylor Martinez's brother.
Yeah.
Commits to Nebraska at 12:30 in the morning on a weeknight. Like, just baffling that this is happening at all, let alone
he was out in California, right?
Yeah. And so it's
10:30
there, but it's still, like, I've done interviews with guys at like 2 a.m. because that's what works for them.
Yeah.
I remember Andrew White, the basketball player, like, he's like, hey, I'm going to go do my grocery shopping. I like to go after midnight because it's pretty dead. Can we do the interview? You just sort of adjust to it. Now it's
a
like,
weirdo.
Man, I've got a kid. I can't.
Right.
And you kind of adjust your schedule to that. The biggest thing is basically Saturday, Sunday, I just don't really get to spend time with him because, one, I'm at the stadium all day on Saturday.
Yeah.
And then now I'm coming over, so I've got an hour drive both ways, so that adds to it. And then Sunday is really usually a pretty busy day of trying to catch up, and especially with Nebraska now, they have these big visit lists, and so you're trying to maximize, and he's around. It's one of those things where it's like, used to be on a Sunday, if I didn't have a kid, you just have like laying there on your phone while watching the NFL.
Yeah.
And now you're trying to make sure you're getting stuff done. So you got a window to hang out with him. But then when he's napping, you are just like sending every text message you can in that time.
Right. Yeah.
To try to get it done. So really, it's just weird because it's given me parameters I've never really had.
That's cool.
Hey, I'm just listening like, man, I've been there.
Yeah.
I don't got nothing to say.
Mike Schaefer, 24/7 Sports. We appreciate it, man. That was great.
Thanks for having me
It was
on.
fun chatting with you. Be back with more. All right, welcome back. Thank you very much to Mike Schaefer for going on with us and chatting.
Yep, I appreciate it.
I'm not going to say I miss Bo Pelini, but sometimes I miss Bo Pelini.
Well,
It was interesting times, man.
yeah, I think what I like about those times was how interesting they were.
They were interesting.
Yeah, man.
I think there's a prophet or Confucius or somebody
How
said,
many packs of gum do you think he chewed?
He chewed a lot of gum.
There you go.
He chewed a lot of gum. But there's a philosophy line where they say something like, may you live in interesting times.
Yeah.
And we lived in interesting times.
For sure.
Under those coaching staffs.
For sure.
All right. Keys of the game. Number 1.
Okay.
What do Trojans, Lifestyles, Durex, and Lambskin all have in common?
Sounds like a condom.
Protection, baby. Protection. The key to this game is Nebraska. They've given up 12 sacks in the last 2 weeks.
Just don't be a lifestyle because you'll break.
Don't do Lifestyle or Lambskin. 12 sacks over the last 2 weeks. And as we mentioned, the team leading the conference in sacks is Maryland.
Yes.
The team leading the conference in pressures is Maryland. So you got to protect Dylan, and Dylan needs to protect himself.
For sure. Yeah.
Get rid of the ball.
Stay in the pocket, though. Don't be scared.
Get out of the when you do get out of the pocket, escape, maybe run.
Yeah.
If there's no run, use your legs.
Keep your eyes up the field.
Protect Dylan and have Dylan protect himself. Number 2 on the list.
Okay.
You know the song. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up, and they stay there, and they stay there, because all we do is win on third down. Win on third down. I'm going to mention. We mentioned this earlier with Mike Schaefer. You're talking about two teams that are very good defensively on third down. Nebraska's better offensively than the worst team in the Big Ten, which is Maryland on third down. The team that wins third down. When you look at the stats at the end of the game, whoever wins third down wins this game. Got to win third down. Win. All we do is win.
All right.
And then number 3, as my good friend, Short Dog once said.
Short Dog.
Out of Oakland, California.
Yep.
Not time to waste.
I feel like everybody got a homie named Short Dog.
Get on the case. Well, yeah. I mean, we had in our Fat.
Yeah.
Somebody was always named Fat.
Yeah.
Somebody was named Peanut.
I got a cousin named Peanut.
You got Peanut. Everybody,
right now.
All of them. Too Short said one time, no time to waste. Get on that case. Get out early. I mentioned this to you earlier. What kind of emotional state is Maryland in? They led that whole game.
Yeah.
The stadium was full. They had a sellout.
Yeah.
And somehow they managed to blow that game.
Right.
The defense feels bad. The offense feels bad. The fan base feels bad. If you get out on them early, at their house, and the fans start booing,
it's a wrap.
Emotionally, I don't know how they'll handle it. So Nebraska, you always want to get out to a fast start. It's a cliche.
Right.
But in this situation, when we don't know the mental state of Maryland, get out there, get on them, get out earlier. No time to waste. Get on their case.
Good keys, man.
It's my keys.
I like them.
What score you got? I got 27-21.
There you go.
A little bit higher than what Mike Schaefer
had.
21.
No, sorry. I said 21 at first. I would say
excuse me.
I would say 27-21.
You can't have the same score as me.
I think that's right. I think
it's like if we're in the grocery store and I'm looking for something to get to eat. You can't buy the same thing I get to eat.
That's why it's a grocery store. All right.
You should buy something else so we can share.
I got you. So, all right. So if I got to share with you, I would say 27-14.
27-14. Okay. All right.
I'm going to do that.
All right. 27-14.
But I think you're right, though. I'm saying that.
All right. Line right now is about 7.
Yeah,
somewhere
I think
in there.
you're right. For sure.
Special thanks to Mike Schaefer for coming on with us. For Caleb,
always, bro.
Putting everything together. Mike Allen, Stable Gray, everything they're doing as well, putting together the show.
Yep.
And our presenting sponsor, Bud Light. Makes everything
easy.
Easy to drink, easy to enjoy, easy this time of year when you are just loaded with sports.
Yep.
And you need something to drink. Bud Light.
Please.
Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Josh, take us away.
Josh Jones here with Michael Schaefer. You know how we do it. It's a Let It Fly show.